welcome to the PMUnicorn Academy. Thank you for joining me today. I'm really excited to share some of my knowledge about how to avoid losing your template. That's something that we have all experienced in permanent makeup, no matter how long you've been doing it for. It's something that I experienced early on and it was a source of frustration. What we want to do once we've drawn on our lovely eyebrows with a pencil is keep that template all the way through for our first pass. It's very, very important, and I know it's earth-shatteringly bad news when you do lose your template. I've been there, and I'm sure some of you are watching this video because you've been there as well. I'm going to share with you my 3 top tips on how to avoid that from happening. Now, the first one, I would always encourage people to use an alcohol wipe. It doesn't have to contain alcohol. As you can see, this one is alcohol free. It's a moist wipe. If someone's got oily skin or sweaty skin, what you want to do is give it a really firm drag after you've numbed them, of course, and then dab it with perhaps a paper towel or bedroll if that's handier for you until the skin is as near to bone dry as possible, and then you would use your pencil. I personally use the Lumicolor by Staedtler. I have used the KB Pro pencil before, both equally as good. What's most important, whichever pencil you do choose to use, guys, is that it's very, very, very sharp. So invest in a good sharpener or an artist's knife so that you can get it as fine a point as possible. And then when you've got your skin nice and dry and you've drawn it on, we want you to keep that lovely template because presumably they're amazing eyebrows that the client has approved in the mirror, and then they lay down, and what you want to do is start all of the tattooing and don't wipe too soon. I know it's really tempting after you've done the first 3 hair strokes, the bird's foot, which is I know how a lot of people were taught from the bulb, and it's really tempting to think, I used to do it, I need to wipe that away just to make sure my pressure's right and that the colour's going in. And then what you do is you wipe it in, because you've used a baby wipe, it's damp, there's water seeped across, and then it's blurred or it's smudged or it's wiped or cleaned off your template. So I go all the way along the first pass from the bulb down to the tail, and that is when I wipe. Okay, now we are going to look at colour selection. This is where we have several pigments. I usually use 2, 3 or 4 just so we have a choice. Put a few dots on the client's skin and a couple of smudges of the same colour so we get an idea of what they're going to look like initially when the eyebrows are first tattooed, and then the healed result as close as we can estimate it to. That's what we see with the smudge. So we go ahead and pop them on the skin, which I'm going to demonstrate for you now. Okay, now I will give our client a very, very small mirror so they don't get distracted by looking at other areas of their face. We always just want them to have a look at the colours that we've picked and not get distracted by a spot on their chin or something to do with their nose. Okay, Laura has selected a lovely warm dark brown colour which we're going to use for the tattooing. Next, before we begin, is lay Laura down on the bed, wipe everything clear. If you remember my top tip, we use a baby wipe to get rid of all of the pigment swatches that we used, and we're also going to get rid of the numbing cream, and then I'm going to use an alcohol-free wipe. This is the moist wipe that we get rid of any oil, any residue, any sweat that the client may have on their brow, so that she's got bone dry skin, so that she's ready for the before pictures, and then ultimately sitting her back up, and that's when we draw on the template. Okay, I'm just finishing using the baby wipe to clear all of the pigment residue and the numbing cream off, and now I'm going to use the sterilised wipe so that we can get the skin bone dry before we begin drawing our template. The reason why we do this is to remove any surface oil from your client's skin, so that when we're drawing on our template and then when we're working on them, their skin is bone dry. Okay, our client has now approved the template that we've drawn on. She's happy that we're going to do beautiful brows. Once you're in this position, you've drawn on, we need to avoid losing our template. It's a familiar thing that everyone is probably watching this video to look to avoid. So we're going to lay our client down, start the tattooing, and I'm going to show you some good tips on how not to lose this template. Okay, so now we're ready to actually tattoo our client. She's ready on the bed, Laura's nice and comfy, the template's on there. Now this is the important bit about avoiding losing our template. We've just been drawing on. I've been using baby wipes as well to adjust some of the drawing of the template. Don't want any of the residual dampness of the baby wipes that we've just used, or any of the pencil or perhaps any pigment on our hands. As you can see, there is some on there and we don't want any wetness there. So one last glove change before we start. And this way, I'm ensuring that the gloves are bone dry, just like the client's skin, before we start tattooing. Okay, so first thing, we're not wanting to touch that template because we want to keep it dry. We want to do a good stretch. As you notice with my little finger, I know in America you call it the pinky, we do a stretch like that. Also want to use my left thumb and my middle finger, and we're pulling in 3 different directions. So we're getting that skin as tight as a drum, and we just want to go in with the very first hair stroke there. And then the second one. Remember, you're hitting that bottom line there. You've got to get all the way outside because we're not starting and doing a hair stroke inside there because you're going to end up with a smaller brow than the client's prepared for. So I'll just fill that in. And we want it to go from the bottom to the top, or if you want, like I've just missed it, go back in and just put a little hair stroke in there. Okay. As hopefully you will have noticed, I haven't wiped at all yet. A couple of reasons for that. I know a lot of people aren't confident in their pressure and their stretch and if the colour's going in, but if you try and wipe the first few hair strokes, then have a look. I understand why people do that, but if you do that, chances are you're going to nudge away that drawing, which is your template, and that's what you need to keep. So I am confident in the template. I hit all of the edges all the way along. Once I've done it, that's when I'm going to do the wiping. Some of you might be keenly aware out there that I'm not wearing anything on my finger. I don't wear a pigment cup holder on a ring with a bit of baby wipe. I know some people probably think I'm prolonging the whole experience, but I actually use a baby wipe over on my trolley, and I just have the pigment set in a block over there so it's out of the way. I don't want anything else that's on my hand, because when we're doing the stretch, sometimes I might need to adjust the angle of my wrist, and I don't want to pour pigment all over our client's face. Okay, so we are ready. Now that we've done our first pass, that was the outlining with microblading. I am going to demonstrate some digital tattooing as well, because I know some people have done either or both. We're going to do a big wipe now, just to make sure that we've hit the outline of our template, and just to see that we've got the pigment in and we've got the outline of the pigment. Yeah. Albeit a little bit messy with a lot of pigment there, as you can see, all the way around the edge. Perhaps a little bit difficult to see there, but I can see where I've hit it, and once the numbing cream goes on and blanches this skin, we'll be able to see Laura's outline. But that template so far is really good. Her hair strokes are nice and thin. As you can see, she's young and she's got good quality skin, so those hair strokes are lovely and thin, look like real hair. So we're ready to get her numb, move on to the other side. Okay, we are just going to talk quickly now about worst case scenario. If you do lose your template, it's not unusual that you would sit a client up halfway through or near the end of the eyebrow procedure just to see how symmetrical they are and if you're finished. But if you have lost your template, which obviously we haven't here, so I'm not going to demonstrate that, it wouldn't be cruel to Laura like that. What I'm going to do though is just show you what you should do here. So I'm just going to ask Laura, can you just sit up for a second? Always move your light out of the way, because if someone sits up quite keenly, they might bump their head. What we would do, we'd have a look and just see if there's anything that we need to redraw, and this is where we would just politely say, oh, just need to draw that back in. The client doesn't know exactly what you're talking about or why you're even doing it. You want to just go in and do a bit of drawing and then say, yeah, that's absolutely fine, we're nearly done. You can lay back down again, get yourself nice and comfy. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that demonstration, guys, and you found those top 3 tips of mine useful for you. I want to quickly talk to you about what happens if we do lose our template. It's a reality, it's something that happens. First of all, do not panic, deep breath. Please don't alert your client to what you're about to do. They don't need to know. They're already laying on your bed and they've invested their time in you. They're confident that you can do this, and you can do this. You know what you're doing. All you need to do is just get back on track. First of all, I would say to the client, just need to sit you up. This isn't something unusual, as I'm sure you were all trained. We sit our client up potentially several times throughout the treatment just to check that we've got symmetry and that everything's looking right. So it's not an unusual thing. Sit the client up, prepare the skin as you did before. So you want to have a clear up wherever you've lost the template, the alcohol wipe, block the area so they're dry, have your pencil sharp, redraw, and then following blood-borne virus protocols, I'm afraid you are going to have to throw away that pencil. It's a small price to pay. That is how we do things. Once you've redrawn it, thanks very much, I'm just going to lay you back down. If they ask what you would do, just say, oh, I just needed to sort out my drawing, whatever you want to say. They're already confident in you, they're going to trust you, and you must trust yourself and have the confidence to follow it on from there, and just relax, get back into your stride, remember your training, and just continue making those beautiful eyebrows. Looking at the forums, one thing that I know a lot of people do talk about when regarding losing templates is surgical pens. That is the blue theatre pen which a doctor or consultant will use to mark out where they're working. Now that's something that I know a lot of permanent makeup artists have been using once they've drawn on a template with pencil, and then they do purple dots or they do a purple line. The biggest problem that I have heard that people have had with this is that following the tattooing treatment they might have done absolutely amazing eyebrows, however that purple pen is really difficult to get off. You can try wiping it with alcohol wipes and baby wipes, lots of things. One, you might make your client sore or a little bit red, and two, if it doesn't come off, you've made them so red and they've still got purple on there. Now our photographs are our biggest sales tool, guys. We all know that without our photographs we don't really have any adverts. People aren't going to go away as well that day and show their friends, which is typically, in my experience, when they show their friends, they take a selfie the minute they come out and they send it to their friend. They're not going to do it 5 days later when they've started to heal. So you want your client looking at their best the minute that you've finished with them. So surgical pens, I've heard very mixed results. Okay guys, that is the benefit of my experience in permanent makeup. I've imparted it to you and I'm going to continue to. Hopefully that has all been helpful to you. I really want to encourage and welcome you to share any of your tips, comments or advice. Maybe you've got some of your own personal experience about losing a template. You might have a funny story, or it's funny, you can laugh about it now, probably not so much at the time. Again, I've been there. So please feel free to interact with me. I welcome everything that you want to talk to me about, any questions. This is a closed group. You are part of the Unicorn Squad, so this is closed and private. I want you all to feel welcome in a safe space that you can mention anything you wish to talk about. That's all from me today, guys. Thank you for joining me. I really enjoyed making this video. This was a subject that was very close to my heart from when I started permanent makeup, so if it can help you, that makes me feel absolutely amazing. I can't wait to look for all of your feedback regarding this video, and I will see you on the next one. Remember, you've got this, you can do this. Please have a fantastic day.